Is that fed into the crescent by fiber optic?
Yes.
And where does that originate from?
Well, and I did bring a map of our fiber network. We actually have a number of fiber rings that go out throughout Fillmore and Houston County and down into Iowa. So there's redundancy. So say part of our fiber gets cut or it's hit by lightning and melts, and that it will go a different direction and still feed that community. So we spent a lot of money. We've got about, and this includes, I believe over here in Minnesota, we have about 900 miles of route fiber between here and Iowa. And that's not including the fiber to the home, which is that last few feet, which is the most expensive part in the end.
So like in Minnesota, is that originating in the Twin Cities and feeding down?
Well, you're talking about fiber networks and how they connect with each other. We do connect with other fiber networks, and obviously then we pay them to use their network. They then pay us to use our network.
So like here in Preston, we have the option of wireless, and so what's the range on that wireless? 5-6 miles?
It depends. Sounding like our controller, who I always say never could say no or yes to any question. It all depends on the equipment. It depends on line of sight. There's a number of different factors involved.
Basically, all wireless is line of sight from the tower.
Not all of it. No, not all of it. Now again, let me preface it by saying, I said earlier, I personally am not a technology guy. You know, what I know about technology, once I retire, you can put in a thimble. But I know the right guys that do know about that type of equipment. And wireless is getting better and better. But when you're looking at, say, the Lanesboro area, you look at Preston here and that, you got all these hills. Generally speaking, line of sight is going to be somewhat important.
It's worth noting conceptually that when you think about wireless is a magic radiating device, right, on top of something tall that's pulsing out energy. It's fed by a fiber optic line. The line is then split using wireless to you, your neighbors, and how many other people. And so at a certain point, it's hard to imagine how wireless will allow you to compete with people that have fiber optics in their homes. I think there's a tremendous potential for wireless, but it's also important to recognize that wireless should be viewed as a sort of interim solution and not a permanent solution in a lot of ways. It's different from area to area, but a goal should be to get people access immediately, as fast as possible, but then also to figure out how to invest to take a wire into their homes. It does cost more, but it costs less than electrification, and I don't know about exactly telephones, but if we can electrify the entire country during the Depression and World War II, we can sure figure out how to get a reliable connection to everyone's home in the United States now.
So what kind of a level of service do we have with wireless?
Well, it really depends on the technology. So it's exactly on the provider. In the business model, because you can do a gigabit wireless link, but it's very expensive. And pity the birds that fly in between those that specific trajectory. It's hard to imagine over a long span getting up into hundreds of megabits right now, distributed from one point to many different people.
The other thing with wireless is, again, depending on the company, a lot of times they have data caps. Whereas typically with the fiber networks or some wireless networks, there aren't data caps. When I worked for the state, we used to field calls from people all the time that didn't have service to their house. And I can remember one time a woman called crying because they had met their dad, they had wireless, they had met their data cap day 2 of the month, and she had 3 kids that needed to do homework online. And she didn't want to let them do it because
do you understand what data cap means?
Yeah, because we have wireless.
Yeah, if you go over the data cap, your price is far more expensive. So that's another issue with wireless at times.
Same with satellite.
Yep.